Why y'all looking so bleary-eyed this morning, son? Don't mess with me now. Old Fred Wilson knows. He can tell. Fred's sitting next to me on the edge of the orchard wagon, loaded with rough wooden props, our legs swinging over the side, while Reuben drives the tractor, pulling us slowly up a potholed orchard road from the prop pile past the dump, where Fred's old Cadillac with Texas plates, tires flat, sits permanently parked, towards the trees loaded with apples, not yet red enough, not yet sweet enough, but heavy enough to threaten the branches, needing our props for support. It's the last hot dregs of the summer after my senior year. The other kids already off to college, leaving me with Fred and Reuben propping trees on the Saturday morning shift. After Friday night, drinking Tokay wine parked by myself at our old makeout spot near the pump house in the upper 40 of the orchard where we now work. Just sitting there as darkness closed the orchard down in my Ford Falcon station wagon. A wreck of a car with 3 on the T, the pot metal holding the shifter busted so that I have to reinsert it in order to change gears. Colored baby shit brown, according to my summer's crew boss, but what Robert McNamara's division of Ford Motor Company called champagne. Yeah, that McNamara, who gave us a fucked up car before he fucked up our entire nation in Southeast Asia, leaving me and the rest of us boys waiting on the draft's lottery. It had been a miserably hot summer, with 8 straight days over 100 in early August, working 50 hours and more each week, thinning little green apples, picking cherries in July, picking pears in August, while other kids floated the river, hung out at the pool, and went on dates to drive-in movie theaters. I spent nights drinking countless beers with unshaven Skid Row drunks at a front street bar where my beat-up boots, J.C. Penney work shirt, and long hair pulled behind my ears worked as ID. Listening to Neil Diamond sing Cracklin' Rosé and Solitary Man again and again on the jukebox.
Don't know that I will, but until I can find a girl who'll stay and won't play games behind me, I'll be what I am, solitary man, solitary man.
Once or twice, spending nearly a day's pay, $15 on the women who waited on the sidewalks, wasting money that should have gone to my college fund, wasting time that should have been spent dating girls from my hometown, coming home late, rolling my sleeping bag out on my concerned parents' backyard, not yet 18 and already beyond their control, hoping that the cool grass, the fresh air would soak the alcohol out before the sun woke me to head to work again. Sweating through 10-hour days, coming home beat and dirty with orchard grime. But after a shower and my mother's dinner, heading back out again, lying to my parents about meeting friends. But Fred knew. He had been there. I weren't no wino, son. I was an any old. I'd drink any old thing. But now Fred was sober with a wife, Gracie, and kids, and preaching a little on Sundays. Only thing that saved me all those years of drinking was my mother and sister back home praying for me. And let me tell you, ain't nobody can pray like those Southern Baptists. And giving me advice. They start messing with you down there, you just sit there real quiet like, and you put your thumb in the top of the bottle. They keep messing with you, you hit them over the nose and you skedaddle, you hear? Now then, there ain't no good you can be down there in the first place. You're welcome Sundays. Me, Gracie, take you. We're praying for you, Kenny Nelson. While I was curious about Fred's preaching, I had no interest in church. Just the Front Street bar, the beer, coming home in the dark, rolling my bag out on the grass, looking up at the night sky. That's when I felt everything was going to be all right. That was the only time I felt everything was going to be all right. The sun waking me, heading off to my working man day, sweating out the beer and the wine, with bits and pieces of the night before drifting down to me. A smile, a grimace, a shudder, sometimes running a few tree rows over, retching, puking bright yellow. But not this morning. This morning, Reuben's crudo was worse than my hangover, so he stopped the tractor next to my car parked by the barn, and I fetched my bottle. A few swallows at Tokay left. And while Fred stood lookout, Reuben guzzled it down. Hair of the dog, mismo, veneno. Just another Saturday morning shift near the end of that sweltering summer. I never sat in the folding metal chairs of Fred's church. I never listened to his preaching. There was always something. A flat tire once. My car not in the drive one fine Sunday morning. Not sure how I got home. Waking up in my car, still parked at the pump house another bright morning, but mostly just too tired or too hungover to bother. As the decades have passed since that summer, that dangerous summer, I've come to believe in an intuitive sort of fashion that one of the things that saved me was Fred and Gracie praying for me. Perhaps their request for divine intervention granted, but more likely me just knowing that Fred understood and wanted things to go right for me.